Okay, so I recently watched The Housemaid right here. This looks like a Pretty Little Liars poster. Recently watched it, did not like it at all. It is based on the book The Housemaid by Freida McFadden, and I didn't really care for the book, but watching the movie made me appreciate the choices that Freida made. I don't think the movie did anything better than the book. It made worse choices than the book, in my opinion. So this review is going to be more of a comparison between the movie and the book, which I think will work best if you've read the book, but maybe you might still enjoy this. So The Housemaid is about a woman named Millie. She is formerly incarcerated. She is on parole, so she needs a job. She recently gets fired from the job that she had, and so she needs another one. Otherwise, she's violating the terms of her parole. She interviews for a job as a housemaid for a wealthy family, the Winchesters. She's interviewed by the wife, Nina Winchester, played by Amanda Seyfried, and she ends up getting the job. And, during the interview, Nina seems very, very sweet and just, desperate, we need a maid, Millie, oh my God. She gets the job, and no sooner than she gets the job, her first day, things seem off. The house is wildly messy, just, total opposite of how it was when she was interviewing. It soon become apparent that there is something wrong with Nina. She turns on a dime, is mean, and very condescending in 1 second, sweet the very next. Psychological mind games being played. Millie's living situation is also less than ideal, right? Because she has to live with this family. She doesn't have an apartment. They give her this attic, this room in the attic, very small window, and also it locks from the outside. It's very creepy. And so she starts questioning her reality. She starts questioning this family. She starts questioning Nina. There's also the husband, Andrew Winchester. She starts, growing. She starts in the book. In the damn movie, that's another thing. I'll get to that. And then she starts wondering, maybe, Andrew deserves better. And maybe she's the better that Andrew deserves. And Nina and Andrew have a child named Cece. Okay, so the movie, like I said, stars Amanda Seyfried, Maga Barbie, Sydney Sweeney, whose career I think is going down the toilet, and it stars Brandon Sklenar as Sklenar as Andrew. It is directed by Paul Feig. The screenplay is by Rebecca Sonnenschein, who I remember as a writer on The Vampire Diaries. She eventually became a producer, but by then I had quit the show. Let's get into the spoilers and the details of this movie. First and foremost, the casting. Nobody's correct. Andrew could have been fine, but his demeanor was all wrong. Sydney playing Millie doesn't give. She doesn't give that she's had a hard life. She doesn't give that she's been in prison for 10 years or more. She doesn't give that she's been through. I don't believe her. I don't believe it. Amanda is miscast because she is miscast. She's not fluffy. Part of what was the problem with Nina is that she had let herself go. They keep the line in the movie from the book about her roots, but the person who was pointing out her roots in the movie, her roots looked just like Nina's. And so that didn't work. That fell completely flat. But part of it was that Nina had gained weight. And in the movie, Amanda is the same size as Sydney. Nina had gained weight. A lot of her clothes stopped fitting, which is why she ends up giving the clothes, some of her clothes, to Millie. So the casting doesn't work. I said Andrew could have worked, but the way they wrote Brandon, Andrew is supposed to be charming. He's supposed to be a man who, seems to love his wife dearly, is very into his wife, and that's what makes him attractive to Millie, who has been in jail this entire time. And in the movie, he's buff. He's buff, and his shirt is tight, and it doesn't work. And also, he's supposed to be this man who's very into his wife, and yet the very first scene where he meets Millie, they are immediately, it's very immediate that they want each other. You see exactly where it's gonna go. There's no doubt about it. I appreciated in the book that, based on the summary of the book, you knew Millie was gonna be interested in Andrew, but the way it played out, the way Freida McFadden wrote it, Andrew seemed like he was completely dedicated to his wife, and it's only as Millie spent more time in the house that she could see the cracks. I didn't like that they made Andrew like have a wandering eye immediately. And so then by the time they slept together, like you already knew it was coming. I don't like that we started in the present. I think this movie was missing the creep factor. It really was missing the psychological factor. They went over the top and in your face with it because it's a movie instead of a book, but I really think they should have leaned into the psychological thriller aspect. Everything was just so big and in your face. They cut corners. They should have started it the way the book started it and start with the crime scene. Start with the end. Instead, they start us in the present. I think starting with the crime scene, there's a body upstairs. Who is it? Like the police being there like, oh, there's another one. You're going to want to see this. I think would have been more effective in setting the scene instead of starting us in the present. Starting us off in the present with, I think, Millie like driving up to the house, just let me know that this movie was definitely not going to be good. And then we get the interview, which in my opinion does not last long enough. And then they tell us that Millie is wearing the glasses because she wanted to appear legit. No, Millie wore it because she didn't want to appear attractive. I don't know if they changed that because they think Sydney Sweeney is like bombshell hot, and so they didn't want to play that up in the movie. She's not. Let me not. She has a nice body, which they played up in the, like, that sex scene lasted longer. Like, the length of that, like, longer than it did in the book because they wanted to freaking exploit Sydney's body. Whatever. I think they should have kept Millie's, like, I think they kept, like, her first date the mess, but it should have been more of a mess. The peanut butter scene, they took out a lot of the scenes that would have made the aha moment worth it. That would have helped you realize that Andrew is absolutely batshit crazy and unhinged. They took out I was waiting for that scene, but they took out the peanut butter scene with Cece like being like, she's trying to kill me because, you know, I'm allergic to peanut butter, and Millie wondering like, if this girl's allergic to peanut butter, why is it in the house? You later find out it's because Andrew has been holding that over Nina's head, threatening to hurt Cece, if she doesn't stay in line. They took out the peanut butter scene, which hurt Andrew's character. When Andrew and Millie, you know, start sleeping together, they get together, they have it so that what makes Andrew snap with her and is that she breaks his mother's precious plates. No, she borrowed a book. I think having it be that she took a book from the library, she didn't put it back in the correct place. That, the subtlety of that, the simplicity of like she just didn't put the book in the right place instead of the over the top like plates breaking loud. Oh my God, like the book would have driven home how unhinged this man is. They didn't show us the many times that the door to Millie's bedroom was mysteriously locked. They didn't show they didn't include the finger marks on the door. Like all of the things that I now appreciate on the book, because once you learn that Andrew was psychotic, those aha moments were fun when we were reading the book. They have Enzo in the movie. Why was Enzo in this movie? Why was he speaking English instead of Italian? Were they like, the man speaks Italian, his English is not good, instead they have him speaking straight up English. And then Enzo's most important scene, which is where he convinces Nina to go back for Millie after she gains her freedom, they give it to Cece. So why was Enzo even in the movie? Nina's pregnancy subplot was pretty much non-existent. It just fell flat. It fell flat. They sucked out anything that could have made the movie good. Last but not least, in the book, Andrew dies of starvation, which is a lot more powerful and scarier than them having a big old fight and then with the two women and then they both push him off the banister and he breaks his neck. 1 out of 5.